is supposed to be dubbed, and me and dubbing do not get along. So I changed to a chenille instead of using the dubbing, which made it go a lot easier.
We got so many neat chenille up here, so I'll give them our attention.
One first, or?
I'll tie one and you guys can watch.
Okay.
Alright, the first thing you want to do is put a little red thread brace on there. And seems like a lot of people that put the dumbbell eyes on their hooks tend to crowd the eye of the hook. So what I do is I put the thread back about the length of the dumbbell eyes, which is about almost 3/8 of an inch. And then I make a little ball of thread right there so that it'll have something to rest against when I go to put it on. Keep a good hold on it until you get a couple of wraps. And then you do the cross wraps. And don't worry about it having it perfectly on top, because what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned about how to straighten your eyes out to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. And after you do the crossover, then you do the up and under. What that does is it tightens the eyes because you're putting pressure on the cross threads that you had.
Up and under.
Yeah. In other words, you're going on top of the shaft but under the eyes.
All right, okay.
Okay? And once you do that, then what you do is you put a couple of half hitches. So
over top.
your thread doesn't come loose because you're going to take it out. And now, I don't know if we can put this where he can see it, but if you look at your hook, you can look right straight down at it, and if you have the eyes straight, then your hook will be straight. If the eyes are on there crooked, then your hook will be bent off to the side.
Yeah, we can't see.
What you do is you just push it until it's the shaft and the point are parallel. And then your eyes will be absolutely perpendicular with the top. You get back in your vise. Or now I recommend that you use super glue for this part because you want it to stay solid as you can. And some of the other stuff is not. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is put in what we would call a tail. I'm not sure what it represents, but I don't think it's a tail. This is supposed to represent a crab or a shrimp of some type. Anyway, you wrap back to about where the point is and take one of your rubber legs. Now these rubber legs that I have here are actually skirt material for lures, and you can find them in all the bass shops and places like that. And if you bought this at a fly shop, it's like $4 for a package, and these you get like 100 for 50 cents. And I think that they're built to last longer than the stuff that they have in the fly shop too. Anyway, you'll fold that in half.
Where'd you get that?
Down off of Washington?
Then you fold it over again and cut it.
Well, I know they'd move.
Oh, yeah.
So you have 4 pieces.
I know, it's been going for years.
And what you do is then fold it around the thread. And then you pull it up on top and give it a couple wraps to tie it down. And you don't want to cinch it too tight because it'll really spread them out. And you just want a little of it up there. And they don't all have to be the same size. Okay? In fact, I think does better when they're kind of just not equal.
So you took two of those things
Took
and
one.
folded them? Oh, just one.
One, fold it in half, cut it, then fold it in half, cut it.
Okay.
And then that is, then you fold it in the middle when you put it on the thread, so that gives you like eight
Yeah.
things. Okay. Now, where they called for on the original recipe was that you were to dub this bright, I think they called it rabbit. I'm not sure, rabbit or one of those. And then what they did is they had the fur with sparkle in it. Well, I don't do too good in dubbing, so I said, why not just use a sparkle chenille? And it's a lot easier to put on, and it's a lot easier to control, or at least it is for me.
Just a minor point, but I noticed you tied the eyes further back from the eye than you did.
So that's why it looks that way. Okay, so once you get this tied in, then you bring your thread back up to the front, and you start doing the wraps. And what you want to do is you want to prune this back or pull it back as you're doing it to give you the fullest body. Because this type of chenille, if you don't, then you end up with big open spots. And the radder it looks, I think the better it works.
I would think the chenille would hold up better than dubbing too.
Well, dubbing stays on the hook pretty
Yeah.
good once you get it on there. All right, now the technique that I use is when I get ready to go around the eyes, I go over, under the eye that's farthest away from me, across the top, then under the eye that's closest to me. And then over, and behind the eye again, and bring it up front. And what that does is then it puts you in a position to tie it off right at the eye. Like so. And I put a wrap behind it and wrap in front of it, and what that does is it locks it in place. And there's your body. And then you make a head, and that's the end of that fly. It's a real simple fly, and it works good. You can use brown, you can use orange, bright red, and they seem to hit it all. And I'm not sure, but I think it is kind of like a sand dauber or something like that they like to eat.
You mean the little
Sand
sand
fla-
crabs?
sand-
Yeah, sand crabs or the little
Yeah. I guess
shrimps and things like that.
This is for surf stuff.
Yes, this is a surf fly.
Well, did you ever catch the little live ones? The little sand crabs?
Yeah.
To see the eggs on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fire orange.
Yeah. And the females, yeah.
Okay, and then you do a whip finish with the Gene Casmeric whip tool.
There is no such thing.
You've been practicing.
And that is it. Now, the eyes, I don't really think represent eyes, and they're basically put on here to weight the fly so that it works upside down, so that the point is facing up. And anything that you put eyes on, usually that's what it causes the fly to do, is actually go upside down.